Right now, not later, not hypothetically, right now, your home is quietly preparing to betray you. It isn't dramatic. It doesn't crack or collapse. It doesn't warn you. It simply waits. Because modern homes don't fail loudly. They fail slowly, and that's what makes them deadly. You've been trained your entire life to believe one thing. Inside equals safe. Outside equals danger. That belief works, only as long as the grid exists. The second the grid disappears, that logic flips completely upside down. And most people never see it coming. Let's slow this down and really understand what you're dealing with. Because misunderstanding this is what kills people who were otherwise prepared. When the power goes out, nothing immediately feels wrong. Lights go dark, silence replaces the hum of appliances, but the house still feels normal. You might even feel a strange calm. That calm is false. What you're experiencing isn't safety, it's inertia. Your house is still warm because it's coasting on stored energy, stored heat, stored momentum, and momentum always runs out. Your furnace isn't heating air, it's been charging matter. Every winter of your life, heat has been pumped into drywall, concrete, wood framing, floors, ceilings, furniture, cabinets. That mass doesn't forget temperature quickly, which is why what happens next fools people. For the first 12 to 24 hours, you think, this isn't so bad. That's the most dangerous phase, because people delay decisions during false comfort. They wait, they hesitate, they conserve incorrectly.
And every hour that passes is heat leaving the system. By day 2, the house feels wrong. Not freezing, just uncomfortable. You put on layers, you move less, you rationalize. Tomorrow I'll deal with it. Day 3 is when reality snaps shut. 40 degrees inside a house doesn't feel like 40 degrees outside. Outside, the sun hits you. Air moves. Your body adapts. Inside, the cold is static, dense, and inescapable. Your walls don't block cold anymore. They radiate it. The furniture becomes hostile. The floor sucks heat out through your feet. The walls drain you every second you touch them. This is when people notice something terrifying. It feels colder inside than outside. That's not imagination. That's thermal mass betrayal. Your house has reached equilibrium, and now every molecule is aligned against you. Insulation, the thing you trusted, is now working perfectly to hold that cold exactly where it is. People don't realize this simple truth. Insulation does not know which side you want to be warm. It just resists change. When your house was warm, it protected warmth. Now that it's cold, it protects cold. At this stage, people panic. This is when heaters come out. And this is where most people make their final mistake. They see cold air and think, I need to heat the air. But air is irrelevant. Air is easy.
What's hard is everything else. You are trying to raise the temperature of a structure that weighs as much as a small airplane. Every BTU you generate is immediately absorbed by floors, walls, furniture, framing. Your heater isn't failing. Physics is operating as designed. Imagine trying to heat a frozen lake by lighting a campfire on its surface. That's what heating a modern house with a space heater really is. You burn fuel, you feel heat near the flame, but the system never changes. This creates a deadly feedback loop. You burn more fuel to chase comfort. Fuel disappears faster than expected. You refuse to stop because stopping feels like surrender. Then one day, the fuel is gone, and the house is still cold. Now you're trapped inside an insulated freezer with no energy source. That's when hypothermia accelerates. Not instantly, but relentlessly. Your body burns calories faster. Sleep becomes dangerous. Judgment degrades. And once judgment goes, survival is usually over. Now listen carefully. This doesn't happen because people lacked supplies. It happens because they applied the wrong strategy. Survival is not about forcing reality to match your expectations. Survival is about abandoning comfort logic and embracing efficiency logic. Which brings us to the one move that actually works. You stop heating structures. Structures don't care. You heat biology.
That means microclimate living. This is one of the oldest survival strategies humanity ever developed, and modern humans have completely forgotten it. Before central heating, humans lived warm inside cold buildings. Beds had curtains. Rooms had partitions. Fireplaces were small but constant because the space was tiny. You are restoring that logic. Step 1 is selection. You choose the smallest interior space possible. Bigger feels safer emotionally. Smaller is safer thermodynamically. Interior means fewer exterior walls. Fewer walls means less heat loss. Less volume means faster warming. This room is no longer a room. It is a thermal cocoon. Step 2 is isolation. The rest of the house is now the enemy. You close doors permanently. You block vents. You break airflow. Air exchange is heat theft. The shell of your house becomes a buffer zone, nothing more. Step 3 is the most misunderstood concept in cold survival. Internal insulation layers. Your insulation is protecting the frozen structure. You need insulation protecting you. That means fabric barriers, blankets, sleeping bags, rugs, tarps, plastic. Ugly is irrelevant. Dead airspace is everything. Each layer creates resistance. Each trapped pocket of air slows heat loss. You're no longer living against drywall. You're living against air. This flips the thermal equation in your favor. Now the heater changes meaning. It's no longer trying to defeat the house. It's maintaining a pocket. Your body heat now matters. A candle matters. A hot meal matters. The heater cycles instead of runs constantly. Fuel stops melting away. Morale stabilizes. Now new priorities emerge. Moisture control becomes critical. Humidity builds fast in small spaces. Condensation kills insulation efficiency. You ventilate briefly, intentionally, strategically. Fresh air is survival. Too much is death. Too little is mold and CO poisoning. Carbon monoxide becomes a silent threat. No heat source is worth dying for. Ventilation always beats efficiency when safety is at risk. Psychology becomes the next battlefield. Living small destroys pride. People abandon microclimates because it feels wrong. Wrong is subjective. Dead is permanent. You create routine, sleep cycles, movement, light, purpose. The mind needs structure as much as the body needs heat. Understand something critical here. This isn't roughing it. This is technical survival engineering. Your house wasn't designed to survive without energy. You must override that design manually. And once you understand this system, something fascinating happens. Fear drops.
Because now you're not guessing. You know how the house behaves. You know what he does. You know where energy goes. You stop fighting the building and start using it correctly. The outside walls shield wind. The cold preserves food. The shell creates layers. The house becomes a tool, not a death trap. But only if you abandon the fantasy of living normally. That fantasy kills people every winter. The fantasy says, I'll just endure. I'll just heat one room normally. I'll figure it out as I go. Cold punishes hesitation. Cold rewards early adaptation. You don't rise to courage in winter emergencies.
you fall to preparation. So here is the brutal truth stated clearly. Your home is not shelter without power. It is a system dependent on energy. When that energy stops, the system flips polarity. Insulation traps cold. Thermal mass drains life. Comfort logic becomes lethal. You can either accept that now while the lights are still on, or learn it later when it costs fuel, time, and body heat you don't have. Stop planning how to heat a house. Start planning how to live inside cold intelligently. Because when the grit goes dark, your house won't save you. Knowledge will. And cold doesn't forgive ignorance.